Google Ads in 2025 is not the same game it was last year. And if you're still running campaigns like you were 6 months ago, you're already behind. Costs are up, competition is higher than ever. And if you're not optimizing for profitability, not just return on ad spend, you're leaving money on the table. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly what to double down on and what you need to cut immediately if you want to scale profitably with Google Ads this year. Let's get into it. All right, so what to focus on in Google Ads 2025? One, we're gonna focus on a smart campaign structure. Now, I really urge you all to stop running these one-size-fits-all campaign setups. Yes, consolidation is amazing. This is what Google's really running towards. But if you have high SKU counts, if you are spending enough money, you do want to ensure that you are appropriately building out your campaigns and avoiding overlap. So there's a reason why this matters, right? A bad structure, like you know, does equal wasted spend. So if they're not set up with intentionality behind them, Google will decide where your budget goes for you. And typically that's not in your favor. At the end of the day, the platform wants to spend money, and most of its recommendations are around, hey, you could spend this much. However, you're likely not going to yield the return you're looking for. And you've seen it with their recommendations. So at White Labeled, we structure accounts a certain way, and I'm gonna let you in under the hood, right? So we use brand campaigns. Yes, brand campaigns, because we wanna ensure we are protecting brand keywords from competitors. So what you could do is, based off of your volume, test out whether or not you need brand campaigns by looking at auction insights, seeing if other competitors are bidding in your auction, seeing if Amazon is pulling traffic from your key terms, right? If you're on Amazon Marketplace, it's likely that you're competing directly with them, but that's not all, right? We want to ensure that when people are searching for us, we are visible, okay? I've built accounts off of cherry picking from competitors that were not protecting their brand equity, right? But we knew that they had a lot of organic content and that they've been in the space longer. So we started cherry picking with some very, very, very flavorful messaging, right? So I'm on the side of brand campaigns, have them, but make sure you are not overspending. And there's other things we could do to ensure that, right? So next, high intent search. So what does this look like? You want to be there when ready to buy shoppers are searching and researching, because Google, it's not necessarily like the most amazing discovery platform, right? Yes, if you're on YouTube, if you're using demand gen, you can, get discovered because people are scrolling, similar to Meta, right? Now, what you do want to be available for on Google is, that search, because they are likely in this very high intent mode, ready to buy. Okay, so you want to be there with the right messaging, the right offer, and the right landing page, product page that is super relevant to what they are looking for. All right, if you're spending money on a click, you want to ensure the journey matches what you're trying to do. If not, you're just wasting spend. Next, performance max. Standard shopping. Yes, standard shopping. We're running PMax. Why not just run a feed only PMax? Because I actually kind of like the fact that I could completely control where I am serving my product. I've seen time and time again running feed only shopping campaigns that I'll have a small portion of budget going towards search. That's not my intention, especially if I'm calling it a feed only, right? And you'll see that all the time. So standard shopping actually helps give you that control and that confidence that you are going to be controlling and serving in that auction. Next, and this is if you're ready for it and you're spending enough, we're gonna tap into remarketing and prospecting YouTube campaigns, right? And we could do this with demand gen, which is product type that's now consuming your video action campaign type. So it's a conversion-based YouTube campaign. So this right here, if you haven't noticed, is we're collecting the bottom of the funnel with our branded campaigns, and potentially with YouTube remarketing, and with potentially demand gen remarketing. Then what we're doing as you go further up, these people are ready to buy. We're there with our high intent search campaigns, right? We're also there with our shopping campaigns. We're there with our performance max campaigns. And then based off exclusions in certain keywords, right? And the intent behind someone's search, we're gonna be even higher up in the funnel. And then when we get to top of funnel, that's when we're doing YouTube and we're truly prospecting and we're using the right exclusions. One fun fact about performance max, you can go after new customers with that nice new customer acquisition toggle that they have. I wouldn't recommend setting a value just because it does skew some of the numbers on our end, but you can use it as a really good prospecting tool in your Google Ads account. So what to stop? Over-segmenting means more campaigns, and that typically doesn't mean better results. There are instances where you do want to segment, but it's not gonna feel like you're over-segmenting because it's tactical. You have a unique goal for that unique product or group of products that you're trying to get in the auction, right? You're trying to put the most relevant information together. You're trying to set the right return on ad spend target if you're there, okay? That's when you could segment, when seasonality is a factor, when location's a factor, when product margin's a factor, when you have best or worst products. Those are instances where segmentation can really make a positive impact on your account. Another thing to stop, please stop bidding on brand search. Get those guardrails in place. You could have your Google rep do that. You could reach out to me for the form, right? I'll shoot it over to you. Cool. You could also add negative keywords and a brand list, right, to your PMAX campaigns. Please do that. You do, especially if you have a brand search campaign like we typically do, because what we don't want is inflating our CPCs by competing with our other campaign types. At White Labeled, we recently brought on an accessories brand, right? They were struggling with chaotic Google ad structure, 7 scattered campaigns, overlapping budgets, a lack of clear optimization schedule in place. Their brand search was getting cannibalized by Performance Max, and their CPCs were inflated. It was actually on an uptick until we made some adjustments into the account, not just because of how their brand campaign was built, but because of the cannibalization that was occurring from search, shopping, display competing against each other, not building a clean ecosystem. This wasn't just a quick Google fix. It's about aligning Google's algorithm with a profit first campaign structure. So for us, we structured their account into 3 core campaigns: brand search, high intent search, and PMAX. What we did in PMAX is we're focusing more on the best selling and high margin accessories versus looking at return on ad spend on an average. Like, I know, and we know that there's certain products that are going to need to have a higher return on ad spend, right? Because they do have a higher margin. The results, okay, these are actually amazing. Last 30 days versus the previous period, right? Sales were up $60,000, proving this new structure could scale more profitably and we could start further expanding our non-branded efforts. Outside of that, we saw a massive drop off in their cost per conversion. We dropped it about 49%. Within the last 30 days, we're at $12.12 versus the average of $23.68. They were getting sales at half the price. This was an epic result. In addition to that, return on ad spend improved. So we were able to really push ad dollars the right way towards high margin products and more converting audiences instead of that overlap and wasted spend. Few notes, I'm gonna hammer this in. Stop letting Performance Max steal your branded search traffic. Set negatives, get with your Google rep, or just hopefully it magically appears in your account already, but set those negatives, protect your margins. Outside of that, ensure that you are structuring campaigns around intent, not just product categories. Buyers search differently in this space. Keep that in mind. Know where your audience is and how they're looking up your product. So what to do? Shift focus to metrics that drive profit, all right? One of them is look at your marketing efficiency ratio. So your total revenue divided by total ad spend. The second one is contribution margin. So contribution margin is revenue minus variable cost divided by revenue times 100. Now, the purpose of this is what we're looking to see, especially in e-commerce and especially in Google Ads, that we're not just looking at return on ad spend. We're factoring in real cost to see if the campaign is in fact profitable for your business. So if contribution is high, scale the campaign. It's profitable. If it's low, either reduce spend, adjust pricing, which is a really quick lever to use, or optimize for higher margin products. And that's where I was getting at earlier, where segmentation can matter, because more often than not, we're bidding on return on ad spend, or we're using a conversion value bid the wrong way. Maximize conversion value is gonna focus for higher AOV products, but that doesn't necessarily say that this product is more profitable for my business. So please look at these metrics. Another one is going to be lifetime value. So what's a customer's worth beyond the first purchase? I'm an agency owner and I know my LTV. And what that helps me understand is how much I'm willing to spend to actually acquire a customer. Another metric is going to be the break-even cost to acquire a customer. And I'm gonna have a video on this one pretty soon, just because this is something that I ask all of my prospects whether or not they have. Because this tells me whether or not they know how much they are willing to spend, right? Whether they actually know all the other metrics that are going to help drive profit for their business. So how do we optimize here, right? We're gonna shift budget towards high margin products and repeat customers. Duh. We're gonna scale based on MER and profitability, not just platform return on ad spend. Because like I said, sometimes we might be focusing on low margin products and grouping in a specific return on ad spend target where we're not really as profitable as we think we are. And third, let's get a multi-touch attribution tool, okay? Look at Triple Whale. Look at the North Beams to see where Google is really driving revenue, because it's likely that you are activating demand somewhere else in another channel. Maybe it's TV, maybe it's Meta, maybe it's TikTok, right? Maybe your whole business is on organic, which is amazing. And I've been seeing a lot of that lately. Do content, hint, hint. That's what I'm doing here right now. So what to stop? Stop obsessing over CTR and impressions. They're awesome, but every time I hop on a call and I hear a lot around creative, a lot around engagement, I understand as a business owner that these do not pay the bills. So while we want to look at this and benchmark quickly to determine what creative is going to work the best, what messaging and language is going to work the best to acquire our customers, it doesn't pay the bill. We need to focus on profitability here. Chasing return on ad spend without understanding margins is critical here. I recommend you try to understand like each category of your store. So the way that I typically look at shopping campaigns, right, are like a grocery store aisle. And then I'll look down each aisle and be like, okay, all the dairy products are over here, all the cereals are over here, or the healthy organic stuff is over here. Now, what's my margin for each of these aisles? Or at least what's the average of the group of products in this aisle, right? From there, I'm going to have drastically different return on ad spend targets. More often than not, people are grouping all those three aisles together. So this is going to help you make better decisions on determining your goals for your campaigns. Another thing to stop making budget decisions based on only Google reported conversions. It's likely they're inflated. So like I mentioned, get another attribution tool or start focusing on these metrics that we mentioned above, right? Because an example I have here, for a wellness brand, we stopped optimizing purely for return on ad spend, focused on contribution margin, revenue stayed flat, but guess what jumped up in about 45 to 60 days? Profit. And it jumped up 26%. 3, focus on AI-driven bidding, right? AI, ML. Google's machine learning is way too advanced to ignore, okay? They've been in the game for way too long, and the platform still generates a ton of revenue for Google. So that means it's working and we're all on it. So if you're manually bidding on everything, keep in mind it's highly likely that you're losing efficiency. So what do you want to do? Use max conversion value, graduate up to target return on ad spend. Let Google's AI really do the heavy lifting. Lean into performance max, but only if you have structured asset groups. There is a reason it says scores. Poor, good, great. There's a reason behind that. Make sure your asset groups are performing well because you'll end up paying less in the future. Google's giving you all the signals for you to optimize your account. Next, please monitor search terms reports. Google hides data. We know this, but you can still pull insights. Unfortunately, There's still that other section, which I dread because I've seen so much wasted spend in an other section with ridiculously high CPAs. So hopefully they, give us what we need so we could uncover some of the issues there. But search term reports are invaluable. I can't tell you how many times I've seen 700 keywords. Imagine the amount of search terms that you're in the auction for. It could get really ridiculous. The other day, actually, and this is for a lead gen prospect, he had mentioned that he's a personal injury attorney, and a lot of the keywords that the search terms that were showing up in his account were mangoes, right? Mango PI, mango hitting car, things around mangoes. How much do you think those cases are for his business, right? It's a mango falling on a car. Cool. So please review your search term reports. So what's a stop here? Manual bidding, using enhanced CPC. It's a little outdated, and setting target ROAS too high, too soon. You will obliterate your scale. Okay, I will share below in the description. Actually, I have shared below in the description a bidding sheet that you could look at, reference, and it'll basically tell you when to go up, when to go down. It's like a graduation scale. 4, focus on first-party data. Please stop relying on Google's audiences alone. First-party data is your competitive edge. And if you're not leveraging your own data, you are already behind, all right? So what can you do here? You can upload customer lists, VIP buyers, email subscribers into Google Ads. You could use Klaviyo to auto import the data. You could use Shopify data to help fuel retargeting campaigns in your demand gen campaigns, YouTube. You can build custom segments based on top performing keywords and competitor sites. We see the competitor ones work pretty well. Hint, hint. What to stop? Don't just rely on in-market and affinity audiences alone. They're broad and more often than not, pretty damn inefficient. Letting P-Max auto target audiences with zero visibility is a death sentence. It's very rare that I've seen that work really well. Okay. 5, focus on creative refreshes and stop letting ads go stale, please. I see this way too often when I hop into PMax campaigns in particular. Same thing with YouTube. Google is going to prioritize fresh ad creative more than ever, especially in PMax. It wants to get you on all those different placements on YouTube. In feed is one that they're really testing, but it doesn't really perform that well. But what to do, right? Inside of PMax, depending on how much you're spending, you're gonna wanna refresh creative every 2 to 4 weeks, okay? Use UGC style videos, get product demos in there, use dynamic creatives, okay? Just try to keep it fresh, and you're going to see under asset group performance, whether or not Google is saying that this is a low performer, it's a high performer, Google's gonna let you know. And then all you're going to wanna do is just make more of those, because Google's saying that, hey, it's working, and it's working in this specific piece of inventory. We're gonna continue serving it here. Maybe make another one so we could fill it in when this one starts to fatigue. Test lifestyle content versus studio content. Rotate that based off of performance. The same way you're utilizing your ASE campaigns in Meta, you could do that with PMax, right? They're very similar. PMax is Google's ASC, vice versa. So what to stop? Stop running the same images across search, display, and YouTube. Do not let Google auto-generate creatives. Please control the narrative. So what do you do next? Google Ads isn't getting cheaper. It's not slowing down. If you want to stay profitable in 2025, you need to structure campaigns correctly, track the right metrics, leverage first-party data, and keep your creative fresh. That's what's working for the brands we manage at White Labeled. You want us to audit your Google Ads account? Book a free discovery call. We'll show you exactly where you're leaving money on the table. Heck, use the audit, have your team implement all the changes. I just want to see you win. If you're not ready for that, check out my next video or comment below on another video you'd like me to do, and I'll make sure I get it covered for you. So here's a final thought from me. So as you know, Google Ads is evolving fast. AI is coming in. It's really speeding things up, making operators more effective and efficient. You could adapt and scale, or stick with old strategies and fall behind. Make the changes, stay sharp, and you'll win. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.